What's up, everybody? It's your host of the Mentee Podcast, Wyatt Graves. And today I have another fantastic guest. Today, it's a former NBA player, Anthony Tolliver. I'm really excited about this conversation today because we talk about a lot of things that we don't normally get to talk about on the show, namely faith and how faith plays such a pivotal role in his success and in his journey. I want to ask for your love and mercy with my voice today. I'm pushing through the head cold, so please overlook it. The conversation and the truth bombs are no less valuable. So with that, let's get into my conversation with Anthony Tolliver. Anthony, what's up, man? I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Oh, man, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Look, it's really awesome that we're getting to have this conversation, and I have to set the tone or plant the seed, show everybody how we got connected, because I think it's really crazy, right? You're in GoBundance. I'm in GoBundance. I recently became the regional leader, which gave me Texas that I get to be in charge of to help make sure that the value of our tribe is felt at the lowest levels with all of our members. And so I recognized your name in our group chat.
Yep.
And then we never connected. And then around Christmas time, we go to Broken Bow for vacation. My family goes, obviously your family's there, but we don't know each other.
Yep.
And we both pull over at this little shed that's like a little shack that's made into a corn dog stand. We're both at the counter. I don't even pay attention. My wife comes back and she says, I know that dude's an NBA player. He just has to be. I turned around. I didn't even tell you this, right? I turned around and I saw you over there and I said, I have a feeling that is Anthony Tolliver. I've never seen you before.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, right? Like I watch basketball with my son, but never a big fan of just sports, just not really that connected. But dude, I just had a feeling. Yep. And that's whenever I walked up to you and I said, hey man, are you Anthony? And I'll be dang, it was you. How about that?
Yeah, I didn't know the full background, but I do remember that corn dog stand. That was a solid little spot.
It was, man. It was. And Broken Bow did so. It was great for us. But I mean, what are the chances
that
we would have met on the side of the street in Broken Bow?
That's life, though. That is life. And that's why I tell people all the time, the world is small. Treat people right. Because it's if you don't treat people right, it's inevitably going to bite you in the butt. Maybe not immediately, but it will, because it's too small of a world. Like we don't, unless you're just a person who just sits in their house and doesn't go anywhere, doesn't have any relationships, then your world is really small. But you don't even have space to treat people wrong. But if you don't do things the right way, if you don't have integrity, it's something that will 100% of the time, what's done in the dark will come to light, right? And so to me, it's one of those things that I just live by that. I've always done that. Even going back to elementary school, middle school, and high school, just even like the people who people would call nerds or whatever it may be. I'm like, dude, they're people. Like, let's just you're cool. Like, hey, you're cool in your own way, but I'm just gonna treat them right. And guess what? A lot of those guys and girls who were, what people consider the nerds, they're the councilmen, making decisions on real estate deals I'm doing, like stuff like that.
Wow.
Where it's oh, hey, Matt, I was really good. We weren't like great friends, but hey, like I wasn't a jerk, right? Like, so
you treated him. Yeah.
I
you
treated him like a human,
That's
it's
right,
like
human.
It's not that hard. So I don't know. I think that's what it comes back down to. It's you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who's watching. And so just treating people the right way is always the way to go.
So true. So true. I want to bring, I want to learn. How about that? I want to learn, and I want to bring my listeners up to speed with where you are today in your career, right? I know from the research that I've done on you that faith, family, fitness, finances, those are words that resonate with you and where you're at today. You've overcome odds of coming out of high school. You made it to the NBA, right? One in ever how many thousands or tens of thousands of people get that opportunity.
Yep.
But you've become a successful business person too. So, teach me, like, where are you at in business? What are you doing? What are you up to? What's a day in the life of your world look like today?
Yeah. I mean, I really truly live by those pillars. Faith is number one. Very first thing I do every morning is wake up and pray, wake up and read the Bible, wake up and listen to worship music, and just kind of set myself up for another day, and just be grateful and thankful for another day, because I know people my age and younger than me that have died early through accident, cancer, heart attack, all kinds of different things. So that's kind of my foundation is always my faith. My family. I get up, make sure my kids are taken care of, and my wife is helped through the process of getting the kids out of the door. It's something that if I'm home, I'm up and I'm doing that. I don't, skip that ever. And when it comes to finance, obviously that would say that's kind of the job part, the part where you're trying to make some finances.
Yeah, yeah.
But before I even get there, it's another F, it's fitness. And so right after I get the kids gone and out of the house, I work out every single day. Today was a pretty chill day. All I did was get stretched out and play a little virtual golf. But for me, that's a non-negotiable. It's every day. Doing something going to move my body and stay fresh. And then finance. I really enjoy helping people in the financial space, whether that be helping people with some ideas or structures, or whether it be family or friends. I've even helped random people that reach out to me. Like I don't have unlimited amount of time, but if I do
Sure.
have a little bit of extra time, like I don't mind giving it and then serving others, even if it's not somebody I know. From that side of finance is something that I'm really passionate about, is financial literacy. But the other side of finance is the business, right? Is businesses that I'm a part of and invested in. The thing I'm putting the most time, energy, and effort into right now is my company, Legacy. We're kind of on this journey. Our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal is to eventually be the provider for the entire NBA, NFL, MLB, all the sports leagues, and provide them with life insurance. And the way that we do it is very different, and structured very different than most other insurance companies. We actually have a way to do this, and still continuously working on the way to do it without having any of the players or anybody have to cut checks. So having life insurance and not having to come out of pocket for it is kind of what it sounds kind of crazy, right?
Yeah,
Sounds like something, but to me, it's like the movers and the shakers, right? The people who do something completely unique and something that's completely outside the box. No one thought that you could make an electric car company a staple in America, like Tesla has. No one thought I was going to make it to the NBA, right? Like, that's just how that's my entire life. It's defying the odds and figuring things out, solving big problems. And so for me, it's something I'm very passionate about, and something I've been really working on for the last couple of years.
Man, I love to hear that. I do want to come back to and ask you about real estate too, because you own real estate, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I want to come back and talk about that. But on your life insurance thing, just to really dive in a little deeper there, I have recently heard more and more about some kind of life insurance for high net worth individuals. Is that who you're targeting with
Yep.
NBA, MLB, NFL?
Yep.
Tell
Absolutely.
me, what's that called? Teach.
Premium
what's the
finance
name
life
of-
insurance is what we specialize in. So, Ath Legacy, me and my partner Keith, we created Ath Legacy just a little over 2 years ago. But we're essentially the athlete arm to Cool Springs Financial, which is based in Cool Springs, Tennessee. They've been in the premium finance space for 25 years plus. They've done over about 3,000 unique individual cases. Almost $10 billion in first year premiums. I mean, they're not new to this game, right? But that's all that they do. They specialize in it. And so we partnered with them because, I mean, I'm not going to give you the full story. That'll take the whole hour.
Sure.
But
Sure.
essentially, straight out of the NBA, I tried to go get life insurance, and it was a struggle. And that makes no sense, right? I'm in better shape still to this day, better than probably 99.9% of all humans, and I could not get life insurance, and it made no sense. And so that took me down this rabbit hole to find out why. Finally got unlocked that, and through that process, found out that athletes in particular are have been in the past, and we're trying to change that. Have been in the past viewed in a light that actually
high risk.
Like in a high risk situation for reasons that if you're 60 years old and a desk worker and overweight, then yes, like that would be a high risk situation. But it's my enlarged heart ventricle is not enlarged because my body's trying to survive. It's because I was a high cardio athlete and my body morphed to be able to perform, right? And so these things that were in the life insurance space were negatively affecting guys like myself and also other athletes. And so that's why I decided to jump in. It wasn't just, I want to sell insurance. 3 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, right. I'm not doing anything ever in insurance. Like, that's not my thing. But this became a passion because it was something that, I knew was negatively affecting guys' ability to create a legacy. Just because you make a bunch of money as an NBA player doesn't mean you're always going to make all the right choices. But if you have life insurance and things are set up in the right way, then at least your family in the future can benefit from that. And so that's kind of the approach we took. Since then, I mean, obviously the whole structure, the premium finance structure that we do, it is for high net worth individuals. And that's the reason why we were targeting, trying to get like it done for the entire league, because all of them would qualify anyway, individually, but, just doing it as a benefit through there. But, in between time, what I've been doing is, hey, these deals are going to take years potentially. Like, it's just, we're already 2 years into it and we're still trucking along. Like, it's not going to be like a short situation. So in between time, what I've done is, started to expose some of my network to what we do and how we do it. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concept that I had never heard of before. I got introduced to it. And so for high net worth individuals, getting, your life insurance paid for by the bank is very attractive.
I love that, man. Would it benefit you if I connected you with a former MLB player? Like, is that who you're wanting to connect with to get in?
I mean, we've already sat down with the MLBPA executive director and his right hand, and like we have connections to the people that are going to make the choices and the decisions. We're still working on layers to our structure to specifically fit for the MLB, NBA, those types of things, because those deals are $4 to $7 billion deals, right? Like, these are not small deals.
Yeah, and so, but you're starting from the top to go down. So starting at the bottom with one person at a time is not your model.
Well, like I said, that's my BHAG. My BHAG is hey, to get it to where it's established, just like a 401k is for the MLB and the NBA. My BHAG is to get this established as, hey, as soon as you vest whatever amount that they decide, that you now are covered by this life insurance policy, which for us becomes reoccurring, which is beautiful, right? Like, that's a business, right? Life insurance in and of itself, when you sell one, it's not like you just keep this reoccurring forever and ever. It's like, you just got to keep going and selling more insurance. And so that's our BHAG. But like I said, in between time, like, individuals, absolutely. I mean, that's me and my partner had 4 meetings this week that could result in 5-6 different deals for individual dudes, right? Like, that's great. Those are awesome, as long as there's qualification with financially and then medically. Once you can pass those 2 tests, then obviously then you're able to take advantage of this opportunity. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I've been spending a lot of my time and effort and energy. So.
Got it. What is your real estate? Now you have some partnerships, but are you partners in other businesses, or is it primarily just real estate?
So I'm a partner guy. Like, that's all I do. Like, I actually don't really do much by myself. It's kind of the nature of playing like sports, I guess, at the highest level, and having capital to produce, but also not having the time to run a business. And so I had to get really comfortable partnering with people, partnering with experts, partnering with people who are in the spaces I want to be in. And, but for me in particular, I'm probably a little different than most. I actually prefer to partner with like my family. A lot of people don't mix business with family. I'm the complete opposite. And, for me, it's like, hey, if I'm going to see somebody succeed, I want to see the people around me succeed. Not just,
love it.
I mean, hey, you know what? Like, great. Could we go partner on a deal? Sweet. If the deal's sweet enough, I would partner with you on the deal if it made a lot of sense for me and there was protections in place and all that stuff. But it's like, but if I had a choice between you and my sister, I'm choosing my sister 100% of the time. Not because I don't like you. It's just because if it's apples to apples and we have an opportunity to make some money, and even if it's not apples to apples, even if there's a slightly higher chance of success with you versus my sister, I'm still going with my sister. Why? Because, hey, this gives her an opportunity now to go figure it out and potentially go, I'm trying to teach them how to fish, and so that is way more fulfilling to me than making an extra, 4% IRR, so that's kind of how I've always done it, just from a standpoint of, could I be in a different position financially, maybe a little bit further ahead? Sure, I could, but it's been fulfilling to see my best friend become a millionaire. My other friend I grew up with become a millionaire. Another friend I grew up become a millionaire, like from deals we did together, And so that's way more fulfilling to me.
I love that. What I hear in that, Anthony, which is something that I love to teach also. Like, I'm a teacher. That's why I have the podcast. I can't just be successful and keep it to myself. Yep. I got to share share it with others. But what I hear you saying is that you have some values that you're clear on, and family and teaching are two of them. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah. I mean, family for sure. My mom was a teacher for 31 years. So I don't know if I would necessarily call it teaching, but for me, it's, I guess, more mentorship. I mean, that's mentorship or, as a man of faith, discipleship, right? Like that is a core part of who I am. It's a core part of what I think is important in life. And so for me, once again, does that mean that, I can't go do business with and can't go have success with people who aren't in my immediate circle? Absolutely not. Sometimes the right opportunities come and it has nothing to do with anybody that I know. But like I said, if, a real estate opportunity like I'm doing right now with my cousin, my sister, and my brother-in-law, they're all working on this project currently. And they're not, oh my gosh, they're not subject matter experts. This is the biggest deal they've ever done, right?
Yeah.
It's an 11-unit apartment building that we're turning, and they've never done anything this big. They've all done flips, and they've all done maybe a duplex or a fourplex, but never anything this scale. Sure, could we, if I would have partnered with the best contractor in the area, could we have done it maybe and been done by now? Maybe. But for me, I'm like, the extra 90 days is going to take, or 120 days even it's going to take, the fact that they hopefully will be able to walk away with the most money they've probably ever seen from one deal, it's worth it. Right?
So
like
good.
That's what it's, so to awesome. Me, that's what it's all about. Like, it's,
Heck yeah.
Like I said, the IRR that I could get with that other contractor, sure, it's probably higher, but that's not the ROI I'm looking for. The return on investment I'm looking for is based upon the human capital more than it is just the physical capital.
I love that, man. God, I love it. Where did this come from? Where did this passion come from? Was it instilled to you by your parents coming up? Did you already have this? Is this through your own trials and tribulations, or what?
I mean, I would say the faith part has always kind of been the foundation of all of it. And to me, it's, a part of my faith is, everybody has a ministry. And so my first ministry, and the Bible talks about your first ministry being your family. That's like your first layer, right? Like, so a pastor who flocks 1,000 people in their church, but they're failing their family because their marriage is unhealthy and their relationship with their kids is unhealthy, they're a failure. I don't care how many people, and that's just that's my interpretation of how it's supposed to go. So if I'm not taking care of my family and my inner circle, not to be their savior, right? Not to be their God, but it's like, hey, if I'm not using my resources, my talents, treasures, and resources to help those around me immediately, then, what am I doing? Right? Like, what am I doing it for? My motivation to be successful has never been about just having my dream home and just having my dream cars and just going on all the vacations. It's like, hey, my dream life is to help all my people be in a position where they're financially free, but also financially independent. There's two different things. Financially free and financially independent. Meaning financially, you can be financially free, but not necessarily independent, because guess what? You're still dependent on this job, or you're still dependent on someone else to provide an opportunity for you. My dream is to have my family, my friends, all be financially free and financially independent, to where they don't need me to co-sign on this building to be able to do the deal. Like, I want to get them there. I want to help get them there, so then they can just independently move around like they want to move. And so for me, like, that's been, that's kind of my motivation behind it all.
Now, did that happen after NBA? Did you take that into the NBA? Was that part of what made you successful in the NBA? How did you come up with this, right? Because one of the things that I like to teach about, right, and I get to teach it because I get to learn it, is helping people find clarity around their values and discern what is important to them, instead of chasing the shiny objects, instead of, going to this job or this opportunity without having clear conviction on what's most important to them. And then they end up 5 years down the road, right where they started.
Yep.
Right. So living an intentional life, it sounds like you are super intentional. So how do we foster that in other people, in our employees, in our partners, in the people that we're serving in our workforce?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how you foster that, but the only way that you can, I think that our influence as leaders, wherever we are, is more about what we do and less about what we say. So if I say my family is valuable, my faith is valuable, my fitness is valuable, and I didn't explain to you that every single day I wake up and pray and read the Bible and do these things, and then second thing I do is make sure my family is good and ready to go, and then third thing I do is go work out, and then the fourth thing, what I'm saying? Like, if those are my values, and those are the things that I tell you that are most important to me, but my time and my treasures and my talents aren't dedicated to those values, then I'm not. That's not it. Like, my values aren't truly my values. Those are maybe my aspirations. Maybe at that point, maybe those are aspirations, but they're not really your values. Where you spend your time, where you spend your talents, where you spend your treasures is what you value. And that's where your values are. And so for me, like, that's, I don't know when this started for me. I don't know how it really started for me. I'm just going to be real with you. Like, it just, at some point, this became, my focus and my priority. Now, the blessing of playing basketball and making a lot of money in a short period of time, it's allowed me to make those things a priority. A lot of people are in this rat race, and finances dominate their life. And that's not necessarily the positive part of finances. It's a lot of times it's the negative part, which is, I need to pay these bills, right? And so now their faith takes a back seat, their family takes a back seat, their fitness takes a back seat, and now they're just focused so much on finances that all these things that they, maybe want to value and say that are their values, they're no longer their values. So I know 100%, I realize how fortunate and blessed I am to be able to flip that script and make finances almost the last thing I have to worry about every single day and focus on, so that I can show, through my time, treasures and talent to focus in on those values and things that are most important.
But you didn't always have the finances. Like, your road into the NBA wasn't, right? It wasn't, you didn't get drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
And so you had your own challenges. So you obviously did something to persevere.
Mm-hmm.
You had something, right? Were you a man of faith?
Oh, yeah.
Coming out of, how long have you been a man of faith? And did that play a part into how you overcame all those challenges, getting started in the NBA and being successful with the changes of teams and cities and all that?
Absolutely. Once again, faith. Anytime I get interviewed, I'm going to talk about faith, because it's like, if you want to talk about me, you're going to have to talk about my faith.
Sure.
So I was saved when I was 12, and just didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't really have a mentor unfortunately didn't have anybody to disciple me. There's a lot of trial and error, a lot of things that I just had to try to figure out on my own. And so that being such a great foundation for me, it always, with that being my foundation, then I was like, okay, well, if this is my foundation, I need to know what my foundation is. Like this Bible thing, like I need to understand. I can't quote it like these theologians and these crazy great memory guys. I don't have that type of memory. I said, but for me, I'm like, I got to understand the concepts. I got to understand the values. I got to understand the things that are most important to Jesus, because if that's who I'm following, then I need to know what's important to him. And so these values that I've adopted have, greatly been influenced by, and they just essentially are out of the Bible.
Yeah,
right?
I can see it. I can see that alignment.
There's a common thread with it all. It's like, okay, what's more important, money or health? Clearly health. Yep. Bible talks about our bodies are temples. Our bodies are made to worship him. So if we're treating it poorly by eating poorly, by not exercising, like we are actually, that's a disappointment to God, right? Because we're not utilizing our bodies like we should. All right, well, obviously faith, right? Like that's faith without works is dead, and all these different things that are related to faith. Family, like Jesus died for us, so it's like he died for us. That's sacrificial love. Like, as a husband, I'm supposed to love my wife like Christ loved the church. Well, Christ died for the church. So I'm supposed to love my wife sacrificially, which means every single day, like I said, every single day, I don't want to wake up to pack lunches and put water in water bottles and make sure everything is, to be a helper to her. But that's also like, this is who I'm choosing to try to become, is more like him, which is sacrificial, which is super hard for me to do. And I know it's probably hard for most people, right? Like it's hard to not just think about myself. And so it's like all of these, values that are my values really comes back to, my faith, and in finances as well. It's like finances. Yes, I made a lot of money playing basketball. It's all relative, right? Because I was poor in the NBA. Poor. I'm talking like dirt poor in the NBA. But in real life, like I made a lot of money. And so, these last couple of years, I've had some ups and downs and some of the investment stuff. But, for me, this last year really has been such a clarity year, because now I see, for me, what the finances are all about. So my whole concept or mindset of finances and why that's important is financial literacy is important. Why? Not because everybody needs to live this luxurious life. No, honestly, the reason why it's shifted to financial literacy is super important, because I want people to have room to be generous, right? Like if you make $40,000, $400,000, or $4 million a year, if you don't have financial literacy, you're not going to have room to be generous. Like if you're a person of faith and you're saying, "Oh man, I can't afford to help that person out." Well, you might need to look at how you spend money and how you view money, because that's the whole point of money is yes, to take care of our families, but it's also to be used by God to bless other people. So if he blesses you with a whole lot, there's no way in the world. And that's the thing is we live in a culture where, when we get blessed with a whole lot, we just think, oh yeah, well shoot, thank you God, I'm just going to keep piling it up and everything else. It's like my interpretation, my opinion, and like how I view finances has drastically shifted to, okay, if he keeps blessing me, at some point I'm taken care of, right? Like at some point you kind of reach your, some people call it the finish line. Like you've reached your finish line. Okay, cool. All your expenses are taken care of, and all your you want vacations. Okay, cool. But what number is that? Whatever number. Okay, 250,000. I don't know. Whatever it is. Cool. What if in a year you get blessed with $1 million? Like, does that mean, oh well, now I get 750 to go spend on whatever? No, right. Like at least a portion of that you should be thinking about, how can I bless other people, right? Because why else would he bless you with more than what you need? It's overflowing blessing, so be a blessing to someone else. And that's kind of how I view the whole financial system, which is kind of countercultural for sure. But that's just kind of how I view it all, like all this stuff. So,
hey guys, if you've been a listener of my show for any length of time, you know that I attribute a lot of my growth to learning from the guys inside of GoBundance. If you think that GoBundance is a tribe that you might be interested in joining, then reach out to me. Go to WyattGraves.com, connect with me. I'll reach out personally with you and answer any questions about GoBundance to see if it's the right fit for you. I want to go back, if we can, and if you're willing to share, because I think in my desire to help other people overcome challenges, right? It's clear that your faith plays a big part. You talk about being saved at 12. How did you know that you wanted to be saved? What was that experience like? If somebody out there hears this, right?
Yeah.
And they get the opportunity to hear about your salvation experience. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I tell people all the time, especially people who are afraid to share their faith, I say, just tell your story, right? Like your story is your testimony. That's all we're actually called to do. We're not, I mean, yes, we're called to make disciples of all nations. But how do you do that? Well, you build relationships and you tell your story. Like that's how you build influence to help people to see that. It's not your job to save people. It's Jesus' job to save people, right? And so for me, it was, at church, I got a chance to go to a church called James River back in Springfield, Missouri. I would go with my buddy Kelly because, I would go stay the night at his house on Saturday night sometimes. And hey, I went to the church a couple times and there were some really good looking girls. This is being completely real, right? I was like, heck yeah, I'll go to church with you. Are you serious? And so I tell people all the time, I'm like, God can use anything. He can use anything to get you where he wants you to be. But sure enough, we're in church and I, as a 12-year-old, obviously you only have so much stuff going on. You're not in this space where you got all these responsibilities and the weight of the world on your shoulders. But that day, I swear a pastor was talking to me. Like just whatever he was talking about, I can't quote it. I can't tell you exactly what it was, but it was one of those where I was like, this dude has been spying on me. Like whatever, like everything he's talking about is applying to where I am right now, where my brain is right now, how I'm viewing faith right now. And sure enough, I mean, he just, kept going. And at the end, he had an altar call and, at first he started, hey, raise your hand if you'd like to, make, Jesus your Lord and Savior. And without even thinking about it, my hand went up. And it's kind of weird because now it wasn't my plan. Like I just did it,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Just caught
wow.
off guard.
I
Yeah.
said, what's going on? And this was almost like, I don't want to call it an out of body experience, but it was like something I knew I needed to do. It wasn't like a shot. There's no shadow of doubt. I needed to do this, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. He just said, put your hand up. It's not a big deal. Like, we'll hopefully just pray right here, and I'll just be able to, go home. But then he's like, all right, everybody who's put your hand up, stand up. Stood up.
Boy.
And as soon as I stood up, I started crying. Because I was like, oh, this is real, right? Like, this is real. Like, I wouldn't say, I knew about the faith. I knew about, Jesus and stuff like that. But at that instance, like, I felt the Holy Spirit was drawing me in and drawing me near. And for me, it was like, it was the moment in time I knew this is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it. And this is like, I'm dedicating the rest of my life to this, because there's just nothing that I've never felt that feeling before. I've never felt that conviction before. It was just, it was without a doubt 100% real, and like understanding and starting to learn and know. And I think timing wise, it's around it was either a play I saw that like gave me a depiction of what Jesus went through for us, or it was Passion of Christ. And I cannot remember when that came out. I don't know if it was right after that, but like I had a vivid like picture, and that's why I think those types of movies are important, because it like I remember the picture, like whenever, instead of it just being like, yeah, Jesus died on the cross for you. Okay, cool. Like if you don't like understand what he went through, it's a lot easier to just like gloss over. But like once I saw it, like even the movie version, which is way better than it really was, it became that much more real. And I was like, oh my gosh. And since then, I mean, and that was like at the beginning of my faith. I really didn't know. Now, after doing years and years of just diving in and understanding not just the Bible, right? I'm talking about historical books that have nothing to do with faith, that have backed up Jesus's death, burial, and resurrection. I'm like, okay, like if my entire faith is based upon a dude that died, was buried, and resurrected, and now these are people who actually have nothing to gain by saying, yes, this is actually real, like this actually happened, that all it took. Like once I did that, I was like, oh, I'm all in. Like you can't tell me anything about like my faith. Like this is real. So it just became that much more real that day. Understanding like what it's all about, and like I said, since then it's been up and down. It's been a roller coaster, baby. It's life, but because there's no promises that life is easy. It's actually the opposite. There's actually a lot more promises about it being hard after you come to faith. But ultimately, us knowing where, what it's all about, it makes it okay.
Love it. I love it, man. Thank you for sharing that story. That's beautiful.
Yep.
I got two more questions. I want to go back and talk about partnerships. You don't do anything really without a partner. What do you look for in your partnerships? And is it specific asset classes? Is it all primarily real estate? Talk to me about what you're invested in and what you look for in a partnership.
Yeah, I'm in the process of being more strategic with my partnerships. I have been very sporadic with even what I invest in. I've invested in a lot of different things, and let's say that the last probably 3 or 4 years I have been a little bit better about not being so sporadic about what I'm investing in. I used to be a very big dart thrower, I'd call it. It's like, hey, we'll throw a dart over here and over here and over here. And a bunch of different things. What it's turned out to be is a nightmare to just collect a bunch of K1s. So now I'm like, okay, like, doesn't mean that like that, but that is exciting. It's fun. It's interesting. Like it does get me going a lot, like in my investment world. Now, real estate has always kind of been a foundational thing for me. Very first thing I bought was a rental property. I still do real estate to this day, still do some development, still do some rehabs, kind of a mixed bag on the real estate side, which is, like I said, it will hopefully always be a part of who I am and what I do. But on the other side of things, I mean, just to give you an example of some of the things I've invested in the past, started clothing companies, started fishing companies. I don't even fish, but
Wow.
fishing companies. I co-founded a company called BigBlanket.com or Big Blanket. Co-founded that. Like super random. None of those are attached to each other.
Random.
But opportunity meets, preparation, and that's where success happens. And then I'm a big fan of a niche, right? Like, hey, it's too broad, then there's probably too many competitors. Whenever you niche down, that's whenever I have found a lot of success in niche products and niche deals. And so, more recently invested in actually a gold mining project. Which is, once again, left field, really random. But, so far it's looking like a really solid investment and could be very lucrative if things go well. But also I treat those ones like, hey, this is a dart that if I throw it, it might not come back, right? So understanding those types of things and
sure.
So just my most recent investment was into a platform that should actually be launching next week. It's a mix between fantasy sports and poker. And so they've built out an entire game and games around fantasy sports and poker called Spoker. And they're doing that. So did a little syndication for that. So, you look at my portfolio, it's like, yeah, real estate is a huge part of that. But then it's like outside of that, there's not really a rhyme or reason or a space that I stay in. It's like I'm an opportunistic investor. If something comes along my path that makes sense and has the right operators and it has a great plan, I know that it's still possible that it's going to fail. I've had plenty of things fail, but I've had plenty of things be successful too. So I just, a little bit of a dark.
Now, what are you looking at? What are you looking at in the operator for the partner? What are you looking at to discern that?
Yeah. So on the partner side, integrity, work ethic, subject matter expert, if dependent, I guess. If I don't know you, you definitely got to be a subject matter expert, right?
Yeah.
For for the people who are a little bit closer to me, I have a lot more grace on that because I'm like, well, how do you become a subject matter expert? You got to try it, right? Like, who gave the subject matter expert their very first try, their very first opportunity? Well, somebody had to. Somebody had to have taken a chance on that operator that is operating apartment buildings or operating anything, right? And so for me, if it's my sister who, like I said, and her husband, who they've only flipped 2 houses, right? And my cousins, they've done quite a few more, but I'm like, who else is going to invest in them to get an 11-unit apartment building? No one, right? Like the bank's not going to. They're almost certainly not going to find a hard money guy or whatever without the terms being like just outrageous, right? So I'm like, well, I'll jump in. And then we can get regular bank terms, regular bank loans, and we can partner up and do those things. So, yeah, it's not like, but integrity is important and hardworking. And it's like outside of that, there's some wiggle room depending on who it is.
I love it. And I ask that question because there's people I know that are in my world that listen to the podcast who want a partner. And they are afraid that they don't exist, right? That nobody's going to give them a shot. And you just kind of debunked that myth that if they do the right thing right, they have a track record of doing the right thing and learning whatever it is that they are wanting somebody to invest in. All they have to do is ask. And if they ask enough people, they're going to find another Anthony Tolliver that's out there that wants to give them a shot. So it's just a little piece of encouragement to have people act in faith, act in courage, do the right thing, and you will find a partner to make it happen. It's happened to me, right? That's how I kind of got started, right? We had people that believed in me and my work ethic. And that's how it started all those years ago. And that's stacked over time. to where, pretty much if I want to do something, I've got somebody that'll do it with me.
Yep. It's a game. I mean, it's definitely a game. And there's another GoBro that I just had lunch with a couple days ago, and he was telling me his story and everything else. And he has a construction company, and he does a lot of work with government contracting. And he was telling me and talking about how he had no experience in that space. He happened to get an opportunity through a friend of a friend, or somebody knew somebody that, hey, you need to come put in for this job. He's like, I've never done it before, but all right, let's try it. Well, they're like, hey, can you do this? He's like, yep. Can you do this? Yep. And he's just like, all the things that they say, yep. And what do you do? He just went and figured it out. And his first few jobs, he's like, I didn't make any money. He's like, but it was worth learning, not making any money for, let's say, 6 months or even a year or whatever, so I could get the experience, so then I could make the money. Now he's worth $40+ million, right? But it started out with the sacrifice. It started out with the work. It started out with him, hey, you just got to go figure it out sometimes. Let's go figure it out. Sacrifice the short term for the long term. And if you can, hey, you know what? I might not make any money from this deal at all. Everybody who's around here, my partners or the people who are involved, or whatever, these contractors, whoever, they might all make the money and I might not make any. But if I gain the experience from this experience, that's worth the time, because now you can go potentially grow that into a whole business.
For sure. I want to leave you with this before I ask that final question. I recently, because it takes real estate investing and mentorship, at least that's my vision of it, and it really supercharges it. So have you learned of co-living yet? Sam Waggart and all his school and that community of co-living. I'm doing that is the reason I'm saying that.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that.
You just rent private bedrooms and in many cases private bathrooms, and the residents share the common space such as the kitchen and the living room in either a house, or in my case, I bought an assisted living and it was closing. And so it's a 6,000 square foot, 11 bedroom, 12 bathroom house.
Yeah.
And so instead of renting the house out to a business, or in a lot of cases like Sam, right, he'll take a 6-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house and make it a 6 or 7-bedroom house. And you rent the bedrooms, basically are becoming the new apartment. But the beautiful thing about it, Anthony, is that I'm able in my market to rent turnkey, private bedroom, private bathroom, with all expenses paid: water, utilities, garbage, internet, YouTube TV, weekly maid service for $850 a month. The only thing the resident has to pay for is food. And so it's providing, in this case, where it really, where I get passionate about it, is providing community for these people, right? These people moved into the house as strangers. They are able to get a luxurious, high quality, nice place to live for $850 a month. They then have become friends. They share meals. They cook with each other, right? They split the cost of the groceries. So they're able to create discretionary income where they otherwise would be house poor, because it all goes to rent and then utilities, right? So it's a way to help afford housing, so that then we can, because we're creating the community part of it, mentor them, and we can sign them up for our financial wellness classes and teach them, what do you do with your discretionary income now that you've created it because you were able to cut cost on the housing side? And it's turning into be this beautiful, what I call it, I think it's church, where, right, we're able to teach and inspire these people and then connect them with resources so that they can get out of living paycheck to paycheck and have that freedom mindset, right? And I just think that co-living is a great opportunity to provide a fix, a solution to these folks' problem. And then when you take the mentorship side with it, it really becomes something beautiful. And it is a great real estate investment strategy. So I just wanted to plant that seed with you for a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I want to end with at least one cool story, man, from the NBA. I don't even know what to ask, right? My son's an athlete. I wasn't. We just went to New York for spring break, and we were able to go see a basketball game in the Madison Square Gardens. It was the first time. It was a really cool experience. He obviously knows all the players, this, that, and the other, but tell me a cool story about the NBA.
Man, I got a lot. We don't have enough time for all of them. I'll tell you, let's start with, okay, actually, you know what's funny? Right behind me, I have my top 5 moments from the NBA. So number one is, I named it Mama, I Made It. And so I didn't get drafted. I wasn't, highly touted. I went to a small school. Creighton at the time was a small school. It's now pretty big time in the Big East and everything else, getting high level recruits. But back then it was like, not say I'm going to Creighton or I'm at Creighton. They're like, what's that? Where's that at?
Yeah.
No one knew what it was or where it is. Anyways, make it, grind my way through the G League, go overseas. I'm doing all this different stuff to try to make it to the NBA. And I finally get an opportunity with Golden State to get on the court. And I'm on the 10-day contract. So that's just means I got 10 days to prove myself. That's not a lot of time. We're not practicing a lot. We're not, I don't get a chance to play a ton of minutes or whatever because I just got here. I don't even know the plays. I don't know anything. So it's just a super high pressure 10 days to try to, prove yourself to try to stick. So I get a second 10 day and I do the same. And at the end of the second 10 day, they say, okay, cool. We're going to sign you for the rest of the year. But I'm still in grind mode. Like I don't turn that off. And so I'm just absolutely every single day, every single rep, every single possession is just straight, like focus, all out, balls to the wall type of mindset. But I never, once they signed me for the rest of the year, I never took any time. Like my mind didn't shift to like, holy crap, like I'm in the NBA, like it just
NBA
was like,
player.
I'm grinding. I need to make it. And so that moment happened though. I think it was right after my second 10 day, maybe within a week or so. I was starting against the Lakers. It was right before the game, right before right before the tip off. Everybody goes around and give each other fist bumps and daps and hey, good luck. And I'm still in this like, oh my gosh, like I need to like grind, I need to do this, whatever. And I'm like walking over, I'm about to fist bump Kobe. Like,
wow.
Pre-game on TNT. I'm like,
wow.
Holy crap, this is what I dreamed of. Like it just at that moment I knew, I was like, wow, I made it. Like I'm in the NBA. And
that's pretty surreal.
It was a moment I'll never forget. And then we proceeded to get smoked by the Lakers for sure. But it was just like that moment. You can never take it away from me. It was something that it holds a special place in my journey because it was like just straight grind, getting cut. Going overseas, coming back, going in NBA, getting cut, going to the G League, going to D League, getting cut, getting traded over here, then getting cut over here, like going and getting a 10-day, getting cut. Like it was just like everywhere and all, just trying to make it. And that was my moment where I was like, oh, I'm here. Now I don't need to grind anymore. Now it doesn't mean I don't need to grind to stay, but I don't need to grind to get here because I can now enjoy being where I'm at. So that story right there is probably my number one NBA moment. Second, really quick, is scoring my career high against Minnesota the night that Don Nelson broke the all-time winningest coach record. So
wow. So
he became the winningest coach of all time. And that night I had 34 and had my career high. And it was a very, very special night as well. Just being able to be a part of that, be a part of history. Now, I think Pop's just broke it about 3 or 4 years ago. He's down second, but there for a while, my career high game was at the top of the pinnacle of all coaching. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool, man. Dude, I really appreciate your time. This has been awesome. Great to get to connect and get to know you. So I appreciate it again.
Yeah.
And if I can do anything for you over in South Louisiana, or in my role at GoBundance, I'm here. You got my phone number, man. I'm here to help and here to serve.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear more about this co-living stuff. So if you got some information or some podcasts or something I can ingest, I would love to learn more about it, because I'm always trying to find ways to, buy and hold real estate. I mean, that's the game.
Yeah.
That's really the game.
Yeah. I just had, so Ryan Chow is a GoBro.
Okay.
He lives in California. Now he's doing it with student housing, which is a little different model, but he's got, I don't know, I think he was 34 some odd houses. Anyway, I just had him on the show last week.
Yep.
And I just like to connect with other people to figure out how they're doing it, how they manage the shared space and things like that. I'll text you the website to my house so you could see the pictures and kind of see the little video that we have. It'll give you a great understanding of what kind of residents we have. I mean, we have people from 21 years of age to 77 years of age.
Wow.
Men, women, widows, right? Young single people, male, female. And dude, it's like the most diverse. We have different ethnicities, and like they all have come together. It is the most beautiful thing I could have ever expected. It really is turned out to be so awesome. So I'll send you my website for you to take a look at it, get some ideas.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Appreciate you.
Hey guys, Wyatt Graves here. As you know from previous episodes of this show, I'm on a mission to grow a business that has 25,000 doors, a holding company of service-based businesses surrounded by a protective moat of a personal growth and development educational company. With that being said, I am looking for deals, I'm looking for talent, and I'm looking for capital. If you're interested in connecting with me, go to my website, wyattgraves.com. Send us a deal. I will be sure to include you in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're a real estate agent and you want to be my agent, you're welcome to be my agent if you bring the deal to me. If you're not my agent and you bring the deal to me, we will still get you paid somehow, some way. If you want to work inside of our world, then drop me a line, send me an email, connect with me. We're interested in attracting level 5 talent. And then finally, if you are an investor and want to invest your money, not only to get double-digit returns, but also to have real impact inside of the communities as we raise up the level of good life living throughout our properties with our residents, with our employees, with our communities, then I want to connect with you. Go to wyattgraves.com and fill out the contact information, and I will personally be in touch with you so that we can figure out how we can shake the trees together and win together. wyattgraves.com.